Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Geek Studios and today's mini charge episode for Thursday, August 12th, 2026. As always, I'm your host, Joel. Hope everyone is having a great week. My kiddos are officially back at school, so things are finally getting back to normal here in the Spencer house after a great summer vacation. Hopefully, you made some memories this summer with your family and friends. All right, enough about me, enough of the small talk. Today's episode, we're going to be diving into the latest news from Kia. So Kia just dropped some information in a bomb, I would say, on the EV segment. The official U.S. pricing and EPA range figures for the 2027 Kia EV3 are officially out. And the numbers are even better than what Kia promised just a few months ago. So what's the headline? The 2027 Kia EV3 starts at $29,890 before destination. If you want to add in that destination charge, that's $31,385. And if you go for the extended range battery, you are looking at an official EPA estimated range of 321 miles. So for a sub 30K base MSRP, you could possibly get over 300 miles of available range, standard native NACS Tesla ports, an available performance GT model that literally stimulates manual gear shifts. It's awesome. Sebastian and I tried it out in the Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6N, and it's just fun. It's a parlor game, but it's fun. In today's episode, we are doing a deep dive breakdown of the entire EV3 lineup. We'll cover all the 5 trim levels, exact pricing, battery sizes, EPA range, figures, charging metrics, and how this compact crossover stacks up against key competitors like the Chevy Bolt, the Nissan Leaf, and the Chevy Equinox EV. But as always, before we get started, you got to hit that like button. You got to hit that subscribe button or follow button if you're maybe listening to us on the audio podcast. Man, you don't want to be, you really want to know when we drop new content. So don't forget those 3 buttons so you'll know when we get new content. And possibly if you want to, you can do it. For that extra $5 a month, you can get all of our content before anyone else does by becoming one of our paid YouTube members. Now, let's dive into this exciting news from Kia. All right, so let's start with the money side of this announcement. When Kia first teased the EV3 concept, executives hinted at a target starting price around $35,000. That alone at that time sounded competitive, but Kia managed to beat their own estimates by roughly $5,000. For the US market, Kia is offering the EV3 in 5 distinct trim levels, similar to their other EV models: light, wind, land, GT line, and the range topping GT. So here's how pricing breaks down. And just to keep things clear, I've mentioned the sticker price MSRP before that destination charge. So these don't consider the destination charge. All right. First off, you have the Kia EV3 Lite. Starts at $29,890. This is your entry point. This gets you into the car. It comes exclusively with front wheel drive in a standard 58.3 kilowatt hour battery pack. Next up, you have the Kia EV3 Wind, which steps up to $34,990. Now, this trim jumps you into a larger 81.4 kilowatt hour extended range battery. Next, you have, we're getting more luxurious now. Next, you have the Kia EV3 Land. That starts at $38,490, adding extra interior luxury, amenities, upgraded materials, and advanced driver-assisted tech. Not done yet. You have the Kia EV3 GT line, which is priced at $43,490. You're going to get the aggressive styling hue, sporty interior accents, and some extra tech features. And finally, to top it off, the cream of the crop, Kia EV3 GT sitting at the top of the ladder at $45,890. Now, if you want all-wheel drive, Kia offers a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup as an option on the Wind and Land trims for an additional $3,200. On the GT line and GT trims, dual-motor all-wheel drive comes as standard equipment. And now Kia's already always done this with their all-wheel drive models. You get it on certain ones, but not other ones. So to put those numbers into context within Kia's own showroom, the EV3 starting price is roughly $8,000 cheaper than the base Kia EV6 crossover, and nearly $10,000 cheaper than the Niro EV. So the Niro EV, as you know, is kind of their compliant first gas hybrid / EV platform, which, by the way, Kia is officially phasing out after the 2027 model. So long, Niro EV. The EV3 is effectively taking over as Kia's core high-volume entry point. So why was the launch delayed until now? So reading an article over at Inside EVs pointed out that the shifting federal trade policies and supply chain realignments, we hear that a lot, don't we? Led to Kia to adjust its manufacturing strategy. Originally built solely in South Korea, Kia finalized plans to assemble the EV3 for North America and Mexico, allowing them to optimize logistics and price the vehicle aggressively right out of the gate. All right. Talked about trims, talked about pricing. Now let's break down the mechanical hardware, because a lot of times cheap doesn't mean stripped down when it comes to the EV3. So underneath the body of the EV3 sits on the Hyundai Motor Group's celebrated EGMP platform. That's the platform that my two Kias have and Sebastian's Ioniq 5 have. It's a great platform. It's the exact same modular EV architecture that underpins those cars. Kia is giving buyers two distinct battery choices, kind of what we talked about earlier. You get the standard range battery, which is a 58.3 kilowatt hour pack paired with a single front mounted electric motor, giving you 201 horsepower and 209 pound-feet of torque. The official EPA estimates on this setup came in at only 221 miles. That actually beat internal projections of 220. So it beat it by 1 mile. The extended range battery, an 81.4 kilowatt hour pack. In front wheel drive configuration, which is available, like I said, on the Wind, Land, and GT line, this motor setup pushes out the exact same 201 horsepower, but yields a massive 321 miles of EPA estimated driving range. That 321 mile figure is huge. In a market where 30 to 35,000 usually gets you 230 to 250 miles, kind of what we saw with the Bolt, of real-world driving range, hitting over 320 miles under official EPA testing puts the EV3 in a league of its own for value per mile. So you might be thinking, what if you go with the all-wheel drive? So adding the second electric motor in the rear axle boosts total output to 261 horsepower and 284 pound-feet of torque. Because of the extra weight and power draw, the EP range for the 81.4 kilowatt hour all-wheel drive variant drops slightly to a very respectable 280 miles. And that's where we're seeing most of these cars line up at. And then there's the EV3 GT. So this isn't just an appearance package. So Kia tuned the dual motor setup on the GT to unleash 288 horsepower and a punchy 304 pound-feet of torque. But here's the cool part. Following the footsteps of the mind-bending Ioniq 5N, the EV3 GT will feature virtual gear shifts and active sound design. If you're curious what that's like, we have a video on our page of the Ioniq 6N that was released probably a year or two ago. You can go back and see how those active sounds kind of work. Really cool, really interesting. Also, using software algorithms, paddle shifters on the steering wheel, and synthesized audio, the EV3 GT simulates the torque interruptions of a rev-matching feel of a traditional manual transmission gas performance car. It is purely electric theater. The shifting doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can have it rev up to supposedly as high as it will go, and it doesn't matter. It's just sound. It's just fun to drive. Early reviews of the Ioniq 5N prove that this feature is insanely fun, and it is. Sebastian and I had a blast when we tried it out. And bringing that enthusiast flavor down to a sub 48K crossover, I think is going to be a brilliant move by Kia. All right, so talked about specs, talked about trims, batteries. Let's talk about charging, this is where I think the EV3 will distinguish itself from the other EVs around this price, because range is only half the battle when you're talking electric cars on a road trip. So Kia equipped the US spec 2027 EV3 with a native NACS, that's the North America Charging Standard, charge port directly from the factory. That means we're done with adapters when pulling up to a Tesla supercharger. You just pull up, plug in, and charge. So on a 350 kilowatt DC fast charger, the standard 58.3 kilowatt hour battery will charge from 10 to 80% in just 29 minutes. The larger 81.4 kilowatt hour extended range pack reaches the same 10 to 80 mark in 31 minutes. When charging at home on a standard level 2, 240 volt, 11 kilowatt wall charger, you can expect a 10 to 80% replenishment in about 5 hours for the smaller pack and roughly 7 hours for the extended range battery. Perfect for overnight charging. Plus, every single trim level of the EV3 comes standard with vehicle to load bidirectional charging. That means the battery pack under your floor double functions as a giant portable power bank. You can plug in camping gear, power tools, electric bikes, coffee makers, or even run household appliances during a power outage directly off the car's charging port. Once you step inside the cabin, and you can see immediately where Kia pulled inspiration from its flagship EV9 SUV. The dashboard features Kia's CCNC infotainment framework, housing nearly 30 inches of total panoramic screen real estate. That's made up of a 12.3-inch digital driver instrument cluster, a dedicated 5-inch climate control screen, and a 12.3-inch central touchscreen. Also, and this is always important for some reason, wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Audio are standard across all trims, as is Kia's iPedal 3.0, one-pedal driving system, and smart cruise control. The higher trim options, extras like a 12-inch heads-up display and a premium 8-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. So pretty cool if you want to go to a higher trim level. So how does the EV3 fit into the current electric vehicle landscape? When you look at the sub $35,000 electric vehicle sector right now, the primary players are the refreshed Chevy Bolt, the redesigned Nissan Leaf, and an entry-level compact crossover like the Chevy Equinox EV. That's what we got right now. Against the Nissan Leaf and Chevy Bolt, the Kia EV3 holds 3 massive aces in its hand. First, all-wheel drive. Neither the Bolt nor the Leaf offer dual-motor all-wheel drive options. For buyers living in snow belt states or mountain regions, having an affordable EV with an all-weather traction was previously almost non-existent. The EV3 solves that. Second, and this is the big one, charging architecture and port. With factory NACS port and fast charging capability, taking you 10 to 80% in under 30 minutes, the EV3 completely outclasses older charging tech found on entry-level competitors. Third, range to price ratio. Delivering 321 miles of EPA range for around $36,000 MSRP on the wind trim sets a benchmark that even the Tesla Model 3 or Chevy Equinox EV will struggle to beat on pure dollar per mile value. Kia's EV sales in the U.S. earlier this year were somewhat quiet, selling under 10,000 units of the EV9 and under 5,000 units of the EV6 in the first 6 months, even while their hybrid and gas lineup shattered record sales. The reason wasn't a lack of consumer interest in Kia's EVs, it was pricing friction. With the EV3 coming in at under $30,000 for the base model and offering 320 miles of mid-30K trims, Kia has positioned itself to capture the volume buyer who wanted the EV but couldn't justify a $50,000 car payment. All right, to wrap things up, the 2027 Kia EV3 feels like a turning point. It's proof that as battery manufacturing matures and platforms scale, automakers can deliver long-range, fast-charging, tech-forward electric vehicles at a price point regular people can actually afford. Starting at $29,890, offering up to 320 miles of EPA range, standard NACS compatibility, optional hard-wheel drive, up to 288 horsepower in a GT version, the EV3 isn't just cheap for an EV, it's just a compelling car, period. All right, now I want to know what you think. Would you buy the Kia EV3 Lite for under $30,000, or would you jump to the 320 mile win for $35K? I probably myself would jump up to that $35K 321 mile win trim. And what about the GT trim with the simulated manual shifts? Is that something that interests you, or is that just too gimmicky? Drop your thoughts in the comments section or send us an email at info@evgeekstudios.com. All right, everyone, that's your mini charge episode for today. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap that notification icon so you are alerted when new content drops. Also, give our video a hype. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your audio podcasts, hit that follow button and leave us a comment. It really helps the show grow. Thanks for watching, and until next time, everyone, stay charged and stay geeky. So long, everyone.